All right, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Weekly. Okay. So we have Dr. Us. We're going to be talking about importance for people to have with disabilities to integrate back into their community. So this is going to be really good. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Uday. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. I'm in Martinsburg, West Virginia, and I own a private care practice, namely Apple Valley Family Medicine. I also provide aesthetic services and both modalities. My goal is to have my patients feeling good and looking. So Dr. Tamayo is a board certified physiatrist and CEO of Prime Directives PM&R LLC, and the chief clinical officer for Prev.ai. She's deeply interested in improving processes across the rehabilitation spectrum and has utilized her experience and background in program development to build neurorehabilitation services in both SNF and IPR settings. Dr. Tamayo, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay. So I think this is a really important topic. The skills that people with disabilities need to successfully integrate back into the community. So what would you say those skills are?
So I think, a lot of this is really inner work that we have to do ourselves, especially after a period of catastrophic events in our lives. So I think the number one skill is resiliency. I think being resilient in a time where, you feel that your life might be over, your life has changed so drastically, and that, you're feeling like you might not be able to do everything that you were able to do before. It's very important to have that sense of resiliency that it's going to be okay, and a lot of that resiliency is really couched in this idea of reframing. A lot of what I do is actually motivational interviewing and helping my patients see that a fully independent and functional, especially, and very fulfilling life is still possible, even with a disability. And a lot of that is being able to manage our expectations. And that's part of reframing. So let's say you had a patient who had a stroke and loved to play golf. And he or she may be lamenting the fact that he or she can't go on the golf course. And I love to prove them wrong. I love to prove and show them that there are adaptive sports that are available and that they can still play golf. It's just a matter of modifying it. So, I've really recently just had a problem with the word disability because that's not how I see it as a physiatrist. It's just a different ability. So resiliency is very important, and also being able to see small wins as big wins. So something that you weren't able to do yesterday that you're now able to do today. Maybe most people might just sort of shuck that off and say, that's not a big deal. But as a physiatrist, I get to be a cheerleader for that. So my patients think I'm crazy when they say, oh, Dr. Tamayo, I can move my spoon to my mouth. I'm like, really? That's amazing. So it's like, it's something new to them. And so they start seeing that the small things in life are actually what matters. So that's part of that resiliency component. Yes.
That's awesome. So looking from the lens of gratitude.
Yes.
That is
100%.
So that applies to everything.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. So I think that's sort of, it's almost a 3-in-1 really, under that resiliency piece. But I think the second skill is patience. Patience in terms of, again, sort of going back to our expectations. A lot of my patients, when I see them afterwards, they tell me, well, Dr. Tamayo, I thought I was going to be able to do this by now, and I tell them you can't put a timeline on this. And you certainly can't compare yourself to other individuals who have the same diagnosis, because your journey is your own, and that's true for anything that we do in life, right? And I tell them you have to own your story, and you have to be patient because a lot of the times, what is happening to you. Like maybe it's something that you have to go through, right? And also, it's a matter of sticking to the program. That's part of the patients, right? Making sure that they continue their therapies. And oftentimes, let's say they finish therapies, and this is why it's so important to have a great primary care doctor. Talking to your primary care doctor if something goes wrong, or if you feel like, oh, I was able to do this before and now I'm not, maybe something's happening, and not waiting, So I think that's number 3, it's having that relationship with your doctors. It's so important to have that, especially after a disability. You need all the support that you can get, and our primary care docs are the ones that you have to turn to. And if you don't have one, please get one. So, and it helps me out too as a physiatrist, because at that point I have somebody else that I can speak to help support your care, right?
Absolutely.
So,
You said that, because I was going to say the last one would be get help. We all need help. And so just make
right,
sure that you have people in your back pocket.
right.
That is so okay. So this is really, really helpful. So resilience, patience, and getting help, or, having your doctors and even, your physiatrists, primary care at your fingertips to help you. So Dr. Tamayo, can people connect with you?
Well, they can connect with me through LinkedIn, and we have our website for Prime Directives, PM&R, hopefully going up soon. So that'll be www.pdpmr. You can contact us there. You can also contact me for any of your home safety evaluation needs through Prev.ai. I will be sending you my email directly. So, if any of your patients are interested in our services, please have them contact me via email.
Yay. Thank you so much. So everybody, and for those out there looking for a primary care doc, we are accepting new patients at Apple Valley Family Medicine. Our website is www.applevalleyfamilymed.com. Our number is 304-350-1087. And you guys have a safe and wonderful week. Tamayo, it was such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.